Hello, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is for you. I hope you're having a blessed day. Pray about all the things we talk about, including forgiveness. Name your sins. I've slept about 6.5 hours in 2 days. So I'm just going to read today. I'll do my best to point out anything I think we should discuss or whatever, but I'm struggling. So here we go, chapters 29 and 30, Deuteronomy. And my sinuses are almost getting worse again, so I don't even know to tell y'all if you can hear me. I hope so. It doesn't matter how much I clear my throat, it just doesn't go away. I don't. Moses summoned all Israel and said to them, "You have seen with your own eyes all the Lord did in the land of Egypt to Pharaoh and all his servants into his land. The great testing your own eyes have seen, and those great signs and wonders. But the Lord has not given you a heart to understand, or eyes to see, or ears to hear, until this day. I led you for 40 years in the wilderness. Your clothes did not fall from you in tatters, nor were your sandals from your feet. It was not bread that you ate, nor wine or beer that you drank, so that you might know that I, the Lord, am your God. When you came to this place, Sihon, king of Heshbon, and Og, king of Bashan, came out to engage us in battle, and we defeated them, and took their land and gave it to heritage to the Reubenites, Gadites, and the half-tribe of Manasseh. Observe carefully the words of this covenant, therefore, in order that you may succeed in whatever you do. You are standing today, all of you, in the presence of the Lord your God, your tribal heads, elders, and officials, all of them of Israel, your children, your wives, the resident alien who lives in your camp, from those who cut the wood to those who draw water for you, to enter into this covenant of the Lord your God, which the Lord your God is making with you today, with its curse, so that he may establish you today as his people, and he may be your God, as he promised you, and as he swore to your ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But it is not with you alone that I am making this covenant with its curse, but with those who are standing here with us today in the presence of the Lord our God, and with those who are not here with us today. Just generational, right? This is forever. Except for it's not, because Christ comes and fulfills that covenant and begins a new covenant, right? Which this is a new covenant. Now, this is a change from the old covenant. Remember, the law is fulfilled in Christ, and so is the covenant. Nothing is broken. I did not come, right? He didn't come challenge the law and break the law. He came to fulfill the law. That's what he did. But it's important to remember, like, this is, when they say things like this, not here with us, right? He's talking about forever, right? This is a lasting covenant. How many times he said that? I made this covenant with your ancestors, and I'm going to fulfill it in you, right? If you go watch The Chosen, this part of the Bible will be tougher to see, but the New Testament will be very clear. And if you go watch that and read this book, it becomes painfully obvious that when Christ was here and all the division that happened at that time created sects of peoples, right, that to this day still disagree strongly with one another. But if you look at their base of what they believed, we would never have, if every form of Christianity And even the Indian phase of, I'm not going to get into that. But much of India and its phase, which are very, what we would call very like, kind of think ancient Greek mythology. There's a lot of, there's a couple of good, I'm not going, there's a couple of good books on it, but that doesn't matter. Sorry. India, it's one of the only holdouts against the I mean, there's Muslims in it. And eventually they will take over, because that's what happens. But they're one of the holdouts in that area, right? But if you took that religion they have, Buddhism from around, and Asia, right? All these different things. And you put them with any form of Christianity living in the same area. No issues. They all get along fine. They all do fine. It's when Islam, the Islamic faith, comes in and starts taking over. I mean, Muhammad said, "Go out and make war." Right? We go out and make war. Anybody who doesn't want to be worshiping Allah, put them to the sword and kill them, and just keep moving. And that's what they did. Turkey, it's not even Turkish people like it was in the past anymore. It's Islam. Persia, look where Persia used to be and look where it is now, and understand what happened to them. Right? They accepted a ton of Muslim, we'll call them refugees, and they slowly took over their country and got rid of any Parsi or anything. That's so. These covenants are forever, right? But if God knows Islam is out there and coming, right? God knows, because you read Book of Revelation, it gets real clear who he's talking about. But we didn't know. We didn't understand that. So he's letting you know when he says things like this that your children's great-grandchildren I will still hold true to if they hold true to me. Right? Because he knows that's going to be really challenging as time progresses. Right? He sees what's coming, omnipotent and omnipresent. What does that mean? He knows literally everything, including every thought in your head, every feeling in your heart, how many hairs are on your head, and omnipresent. Right? He is sitting right here with us reading this Bible. And at this moment, he is also at the beginning of time, at the end of time, and everywhere in between those two points. It seems like he's just saying it over and over again. But if he knows how hard things are going to get, maybe he's just trying to comfort you a little bit. And say, hey, I'm still here. All you got to do is not turn away from me. Sorry, I have lost my place completely, y'all. Here we go. You know that we lived in the land of Egypt and that we passed through the nations, that you too passed through and saw the loathsome things and idols of wood and stone, of gold and silver that they possess. Now again, did he say the loathsome pieces of art? Did he say the loathsome images of the divine? He said the loathsome idols. That word is freaking important. We like to pretend we don't have any idols. Are you serious? Careful what you worship. Idols of wood and stone, of gold and silver that they possess. There may be among you a man or woman or a clan or tribe whose heart is now turning away from the Lord our God to go and serve the gods of these nations. There may be among you a root-bearing poison and a wormwood. If any such person, after hearing the words of this curse, should congratulate themselves, saying in their hearts, I am safe, even though I walk in stubbornness of heart, thereby sweeping away moist and dry alike, the Lord will never consent to pardon them. Never consent to pardon them. So the Lord will never consent to pardon them Instead, the Lord's burning wrath will flare up against them. Thereby sweeping away the moist and dry alike. I'm not going to get into theology, so let's just talk about what this means to people, period. The good and the bad. When we get in Revelation, we're talking about the end times, and when, right, he's going to harvest everything, right? Every knee will bend, every head will bow. He will harvest the good and the bad, judge, and then send them on their way, right? But that's all he's. When you see stuff like this, don't. Moist and dry alike. Everybody. Everybody. The Lord will never consent to pardon them. Yeah, burning wrath will flare up against them. Every curse written in this book, every curse written in this book will pounce on them. And the Lord will blot out their names from under the heavens. The Lord will single them out from all the tribes of Israel for doom, in keeping with all the curses of the covenant written in this book of the law. Future generations, your descendants who will rise up after you, as well as the foreigners who will come here from distant lands, when they see the calamities of this land and the ills of the Lord has inflicted upon it, all its soil burned by sulfur and salt, unsown, unfruitful, without a blade of grass, I'm trying to say catastrophic, and that's not the right word. It's catastrophe. Like the catastrophe of Sodom and Gomorrah, Admah and Zebul, which the Lord overthrew in his furious wrath. They and all the nations will ask, why was the Lord dealt with us this? Why has the Lord dealt thus with this land? Why this great outburst of wrath? Come on, y'all know why. And they will say, because they abandoned the covenant of the Lord, the God of their ancestors, which he made with them when he brought them out of the land of Egypt. New covenant, right? Covenant with their ancestors, one thing, right? But he created this covenant with them when he brought them out of Egypt. There's not just one, y'all. Pay attention, right? Because people, theology people that believe they're right and everybody else is wrong, will lead you down a road. Help me. An ungodly road, simply to be right. Oh. Okay. Which he made with them when he brought them out of the land of Egypt. And they went and served other gods and bowed down to them. Gods whom they did not know, and whom they had not apportioned to them. So the anger of the Lord flared up against this land and brought on it every curse written in this book. The Lord uprooted them from their soil in anger, fury, and great wrath, and cast them out into another land, as they are today. The hidden things belong to the Lord our God, but the revealed things are for us and for our children forever, to observe all the words of his law. The hidden things are just future things, right? Future things that we aren't capable of knowing, but he does know. How many times, again, God knows everything, knows what's coming. How many times, just in this part of this book, have we read God saying, don't fall down and start worshiping other gods. Don't listen to this fake false prophecy crap. Don't do it. How many times? I can't count. What has happened, as I've told you over and over again, I tried to do this, I'm beating it up, but now I'm going to beat it up a little bit. What has happened, as I told you over and over again, in the Middle East. Iran was a Christian nation. They allowed the Muslim faith to come in, and some of their people started worshiping and going to Allah. Right? Don't fall down and worship other people, or I will curse you. You will fall. Now they all live under Sharia law. Yeah. Persians, same. Yeah. Same. Turkey. Pakistan at one time. It looks like on the surface, as just a historian and someone who looks at the world, that those Christian nations started worshiping other gods and that God punished them for it. He allowed Islam to take over and is ruling over them. That's the God you wanted. Here you go. Right? Because He is that God. He loves us. He wants us to be. You want to worship Allah? Here, I'll let you. Let me know how it works out. Now, look at England right now. Right now. Go look at it right now. Christian nation. Christian nation. Except for now, you can be arrested for being Islamophobic, which is not a thing. That's a word Islam made up to make you feel, because they saw weakness in us. They saw that if they made us feel bad, we just let them do whatever. Now look at England, like I just said. A Christian nation was. Right? Look at their politics and how many Muslim faith people are now running parts of England. Look at how things are going for their people. Look at the amount of people just this year. Just look at this year. How many people have died to an Islamic or Muslim faith-based attack, right? And what they were doing at that time. Because not one of them were attacking any of them or anything. They were just walking. One kid said, "Hey, should you be walking around with that giant sword? That seems problematic." And immediately was stabbed to death. While he sat there and bled to death on the sidewalk, the cops had him handcuffed so they could investigate whether or not he was being Islamophobic. A man in Michigan just a few days ago was very nearly stoned to death because he said Jesus is king. We're allowing Islam to come into our Christian nation. A lot of our young people are thinking, "Ooh, what a good faith. I'm going to go worship Allah." We will be our ransom day. Except for, here's the problem, right? As soon as the Muslim faith gets to this country, it gets the whole world. Because they will not hesitate to use this military to go force people to do what they want. And if they had this military, they could. Go look at the size of our military and then compare it to every other military on earth. Y'all, it's not even like... You know how people say we're not on the same page? They're not even playing the same sport as us. If we're playing baseball, they're playing cricket. It's not the same sport. If Islam gets this country, hear me. If Islam gets this country, Islam gets the world. How goes America, so goes the world, y'all. I'm telling you. Chapter 30, and I apologize I'm beating this up, but this is so important. It's so important. When all these things, the blessing and the curse which I have set before you, come upon you, and you take them to heart in any of the nations where the Lord your God has dispersed you, and return to the Lord your God, obeying His voice, according to all that I am commanding you today, you and your children, with your whole heart and your whole being, the Lord your God will restore your fortunes, and will have compassion on you. He will again gather you from all the peoples where the Lord your God has scattered you. Though you may have been dispersed to the farthest corner of the heavens, even from there will the Lord your God gather you. Even from there will He bring you back. The Lord your God will then bring you into the land of your ancestors once possessed, that you may possess it. And He will make you more prosperous and numerous than your ancestors. The Lord your God will circumcise your hearts and the hearts of your descendants, so that the love of the Lord your God, with your whole heart and your whole being, in order that you may live. Remember when Christ says that this command, you must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your mind, all your being, everything you have, right? That's the first commandment according to Christ. The Lord your God will put all those curses on your enemies and the foes who pursue you. You, however, shall again obey the voice of the Lord and observe all His commandments which I am giving you today. Then the Lord your God will generously increase your undertakings, the fruit of your womb, the offerings of your livestock, and the produce of your soil. For the Lord your God will again take delight in your prosperity, just as he took delight in your ancestors, in their prosperity. Because you will obey the voice of the Lord your God in keeping the commandments and statutes that are written in this book of the law, when you return to the Lord your God with your whole heart and your whole being. For this command which I am giving you today is not too wondrous or remote for you. It is not in the heavens that you should say, who will go up to the heavens to get it for us and tell us of it, that we may do it? Nor is it across the sea that you should say, who will cross the sea to get it for us and tell us of it, that we may do it? No, it is something very near to you, in your mouth and in your heart to do it. In your mouth, remember that we wrote very little down for a very, 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 very long time. Everything that was taught orally. Yes? It's why kids are failing now. We decided we could teach them with computers, but we cannot. Human beings are designed and have been, even if you just look at it, if you don't believe in God at all, computers in school is still stupid. Because human evolution, if that's what you believe in, and history tells you human beings learn from human beings. That's how we function. So when you start putting us in front of computers, we don't do so good. That's why our kids now are officially no less than their parents at the same age, because it's impossible to learn the way they want you to learn now. Computers are not people, right? It's not the same as a teacher trying to really explain something to you and talking to you. You're just looking at a computer screen, clicking a button. Right, not the same. Oh, see, I have it, sorry. No, it is something very near to you, in your mouth and in your heart to do it. So, in your mouth, it's something you have recited and learned, the commandments. You gotta know them. How are you gonna follow a law you don't know exists? You gotta know the commandments. And I don't mean, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not. I mean, understand them. I mean, understand when he says, don't covet, what that's really getting at. Right? When he tells you things that their core is, don't be prideful. If you don't read and understand that that's what he's talking about, then the commandment means absolutely jack doodly squat to you. You gotta understand it, or it's just words that you memorized. Congratulations. I've seen lots of young people memorize poetry, and then I say, all right, now explain, unpack that for me, explain to me what we're doing in that poem. And they go, huh? You can recite the entire poem, but you can't tell me a thing about what it means. That's a problem. If I can recite the commandments, if I can recite Torah, but I can't tell you what it means in everyday life, then it's useless. It's like when Christ says, so you prayed for your brother that was hungry, but you didn't give him food. You didn't do nothing. So you prayed for your sister that needed clothing, but you didn't give her a coat. So you did nothing. You understand? See, I have today set before you life and good, death and evil. If you obey the commandments of the Lord your God, which I am giving you today, loving the Lord your God, and walking in his ways, and keeping his commandments, statutes, and ordinances, you will live and grow numerous, and the Lord your God will bless you in the land you are entering to possess. If, however, your heart turns away and you do not obey, but are led astray and bow down to other gods and serve them. Allah, here we go, pay attention. I tell you today that you will certainly perish. You will not have a long life on the land which you are crossing the Jordan to enter and possess. I call heaven and earth today to witness against you. I have set before you life and death, the blessing and the curse. Choose life then, that you and your descendants may live by loving the Lord your God, obeying his voice, and holding fast to him. For that will mean life for you, a long life for you to live on the land which the Lord swore to your ancestors, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to give to them. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. See, I was really sleepy. Didn't want to do it. I just wanted to read and just get off. But every time I start reading God's word, we got to talk about it. I can't help it, even when I'm exhausted. Just remember what we just talked about, y'all. That there are a lot of Christian nations that no longer exist because they allowed Islam into their borders. Their young people started worshiping Allah because, boy, they make it sound good. And then you go read the Quran, which, by the way, Quran, but I always spell it Kran because I remember I would rather it be almost Korean. So Quran, I don't know. I'm a turd when it comes to that, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a jerk. But I'll tell you what I know. Historically. I won't tell you what I know from this. I'll tell you what I know historically. Lots of Christian nations don't exist anymore because they allowed Islam in their gates. Their people started worshiping Allah, and now they're gone. All those Christians are gone. Those nations are now Islamic. And during those transitions, lots of people got their heads cut off. Go look it up. I've lived long enough to see some of it, so I actually remember some of it. I wish I didn't remember it, but y'all, I don't see a way to stop it at this point, because the only way to stop it is to make countries genuinely Christian again. And people just don't want to be Christian. Lots of people do, but in my opinion, the UK is in the position it's in with Islam because their Christianity broke. Their departure from Catholicism, which started because of a king being a king. He wanted a divorce, and the Pope said, "No, your wife ain't done anything wrong. You can't get a divorce." And he said, "I'm the king. You can't tell me what to do." And the Pope said, okay, but you want permission from me to get a divorce, and I'm not giving that. So the king started his own church, the Church of England, and put himself over the church. That way he could do whatever the hell he wanted to do. But when that happens and you start getting all these divides and everything, there is so much genuine fighting. People die. It's horrible. The king kills a lot of people too, because you have to sign some stuff saying you are the Church of England now. Even if you're a Catholic and you don't want to do that, you can sign that paperwork, or he can, right? And that created a lot of tension and animosity within churches and stuff. A lot. So now today, if you go do a survey in England, right? Do it on the internet, whatever you need to do. There is a tiny percentage of the UK that goes to church at all, whether it's Catholic, Protestant, whatever. They're at the point now where, as far as church-going folks, they have more Muslims than they do Christians. You know what that means, right? It means they vote themselves in. They slowly but surely take over Parliament, and then everybody in England will either be Muslim or they will be no longer with us. They're not going to stop what they do or change it just because of modern times. They don't care. The only reason that hasn't already happened is because they needed to sense weakness first. And in the last decade or so, 15 years, the woke ideology has shown them that we are weak, that England is weak, and that if they just push enough and in the right ways, they're going to be able to take over. So here they come. Don't hate them. Pray for them. You cannot coexist with people who hate you and want you dead. But you can pray for them. We have to return to God to have any chance. I just read it. But that takes every person saying, You know, I ain't been to church in 30 years or ever in my life. But I'm going to go Sunday. I'm going to get up Sunday morning and I'm going to go to church. Or maybe you live near a Catholic church and you want to try that out. Hey, you think Catholics aren't welcoming because they sit there all solemn before church starts. That's because in that room where we have Mass is a holy place. You're supposed to be in there for adoration, prayer, or church. That is all. Mass, that is all. So when we enter in there and you see us sitting solemnly, for me and for most of us, we're not sitting solemnly. We're in prayer. We sit in prayer before the church, before Mass actually starts, to get our minds and our hearts right. To get our minds and hearts right for God. If you're sitting there gossiping and crap before church starts, that is not getting your heart right to worship God. So what I'm trying to say is they're just as welcome as anybody. You just have to wait till after church to talk to them. Catch them in the social hall after. But like if you live near a Catholic church and you want to try out the Catholic church, go. They have services on Saturday evening to cover you for Saturday or Sunday, whichever, or Sunday morning. A lot of them, depending on how big they are and how many, it's hard if you got 5 parishioners. A lot of them, though, have services every day of the week. You can go any day you want to. And the ones that don't, still try to have it at least 3 or 4 days a week. You go, go give it a shot. Talk to the priest. Tell him you're new. You just wanted to see what this was all about. He will welcome you, and he will talk to you. Go to the local Baptist church. Go to the local Church of Christ. They're the only ones going to heaven anyway. I'm sorry. My point is, go to church. What they say, right? Every journey in the whole wide world that has ever existed. Ever. Think of the most epic journey you can think of. Homer. Think of Homer. It's fine. Not Homer Simpson. The Odyssey. Oh, anyway. Think of Homer. Y'all have a beautiful and blessed day. I love you. Jesus Christ loves you a whole lot more.